This is not a coincidence. If you felt a presence today, if a man in blue seemed to appear in the edges of your day, if a glance lasted a fraction too long, if a shadow moved where there should have been none, then hear this clearly. You were led here to understand why. This voice is not an accident. Something in the unseen has nudged you toward this moment, because what is happening around you is not random. The universe is arranging its notes so that you will finally hear the melody meant only for your soul. You have felt it for a while now, the tiredness that does not leave after sleep, the sudden aversion to crowds that used to energize you, the way a busy room tightens around your chest as if you carry an invisible weight others cannot see. You have begun to notice patterns that used to look like bad luck. Repeating delays, doors closing, alliances dissolving, and deep inside you questioned whether you did something wrong. You did not. You have only been moving through an atmosphere that cannot tolerate the frequency you carry. The man in blue who followed you today is one of many signs that the world around you is finally responding to that frequency, some with fear, some with curiosity, some with thinly veiled hostility. He knows something your conscious mind is only beginning to suspect. You are changing, and the change is being noticed. Remember how different you were as a child. While others played with smaller ambitions, you watched the weather of people's hearts. While they argued over trivialities, you felt currents beneath the words. You were quieter, not because you were ashamed, but because you carried an inner archive of impressions others did not know how to read. That quiet, that sensitivity has been your signature all along. It has made you vulnerable. It has also made you unignorable. Now, the quiet is not the absence of action. It is the preparation of a rising tide. You may have wondered why betrayal seemed to find you the moment your life was on the cusp. You may have wondered why those who smiled in your presence later became voices that conspired against you. People who cannot stand the light tend to cluster around you like shadows drawn to a lamp, and they do not approach with arms open. More often, they come disguised as support, only to reveal teeth when your back is turned. The injuries you carry, the sleepless nights, the moments when you felt inexplicably watched. These are not random strikes of cruelty. They are the pressure of a world rearranging itself around someone who is about to step into a role larger than the life you have known. Do not be alarmed by the force that pushes back. They are not attacking you because you are weak. They are reacting because you are dangerous to their comfortable smallness. Your presence forces hidden things into the light. When you enter a room, you become a mirror. People see themselves reflected, and many cannot bear that truth. They will try to dull your shine with gossip, with calculated absence, with a kindness that arrives too late. You have been tested not because you did wrong, but because you were being prepared. Each wound has been an initiation into a resilience that will not be known to those who never had to stand alone. There is a reason your attacks have sharpened recently. It is not condemnation from heaven. It is the symptom of a world that has taken notice of your ascent. When the light inside someone moves from simmer to flame, those who dwell in darkness react with panic. They do not attack with reason. They attack with fear. They try to obscure you because their sense of security depends on your silence. That man in blue, whether a messenger, a watcher, a stranger with knowledge, was drawn to the edges of your life because the currents around you have shifted. He knows what the untrained eye cannot yet see. Something in you is breaking open. You are not alone in this strange solitude. There is a quiet covenant at work. Heaven has not abandoned you to these trials. The silence you interpret as absence has been a deliberate hush. It is the craft of preparation. In this silence, you have been retooled. You were not placed in the fire to be consumed, but to be tempered. The fatigue that felt like an ending is instead the softening of the shell that limited you. The nervousness that tightened your chest was needed so that your ribs would eventually hold a larger heart. In subtle, almost invisible ways, the scaffolding of your life has been reshaped, so that when walls fall away, ruins will reveal foundations upon which you will rebuild with authority. There will be nights when you doubt this. There will be mornings when the mirror tells you nothing has changed. Hold steady. The transformation is not always loud. Sometimes it is the recalibration of your intuition. Sometimes it is a new courage that rises without an announcement. The man in blue who followed you today carries a small piece of what is to come, a recognition, an acknowledgement from the field that you operate in. He is a pointer, not the main event. He knows something, yes, but more importantly, that knowledge is aligned with the truth that has always been yours. The recognition is beginning to ripple outward. You have been living under a misconception that endurance is the absence of pain. It is not. Endurance is the decision to keep rising despite the pain. You have already proven that you can rise. You are still here. You are still breathing. You have kept a heart that seeks, that trusts, that loves. That steadfastness has baffled many and threatened others. They expected you to collapse. You did not. That endurance is the first evidence of a power that will soon become more visible, not for your vanity, but so that the world might have the leader it needs in a season when light must be unambiguous. There is a turning that is nearer than it appears. The trials you have faced are not the entirety of your story. They are the preface to a reversal that will astonish those who watched you suffer. Do not interpret the slow progress as lack of favor. Interpret it as timing. The divine does not always act the moment we demand. It acts the moment we are ready. You have been made ready in ways that are invisible. The man in blue stepped into your day because timing is unfolding. He is a sign that the field has shifted from watching to recognizing. And what terrifies those who followed you in shadow is not the possibility of your defeat, but the inevitability of your reclaiming. They sense a return they cannot stop, a restoration that will not be negotiable. Their anxiety increases because the world they built on your silence is beginning to tremble. This is not vengeance. It is the natural order of justice arriving to realign what was denied. You will receive confirmations that cannot be explained away. Doors that once slammed will open not by accident but by decree. The quiet preparation you endured will announce itself when heaven decides the hour. So listen, when you next feel eyes following you, when a stranger in blue lingers too long, when a coincidence becomes a chorus, do not panic. Receive these as marks on a map. They are coordinates guiding you to a turn in your destiny. The world is noticing. Heaven is preparing. And you, shaped by trials, are about to step into a season where every small betrayal becomes evidence of a deeper selection. But this is only the beginning of what you need to know. There is a truth beneath the signs, a reasoning for the suffering, and a justice that is already moving, something your soul will recognize when it is revealed. When you begin to accept that you have been living inside a battle you did not fully understand, everything that once felt random begins to outline a pattern. It is not simply bad luck. It is an intentional pressure. You have been placed at a crossroads where forces test not only your patience, but your capacity to contain an increased light. You thought you were simply unfortunate. You were not. You were positioned on the front lines long before you knew there was a war to be fought. That quiet life of watching, that habit of waiting to speak until the Spirit moved you, has always been a sign that you were being prepared for something larger than ordinary survival. Inside you, the wars have been private and relentless. There were evenings when your mind replayed conversations until you felt dizzy with what-ifs. Mornings where decision felt impossible because every option carried invisible risk. You have known nights so silent, the noise of your own heartbeat sounded like accusation, and you have woken to mornings where joy felt like a fragile bird, easily startled into flight. There is a particular exhaustion that belongs to those who sense more than they are told. It is an exhaustion that teaches discernment. This interior battlefield sharpened you even as it wore you out. It taught you how to listen to small nudges, how to recognize the difference between genuine peace and clever distraction. It taught you to hold the line when no one stood with you in the dark. You may have felt energy being drained from you, metaphorically, but also in ways that felt almost physical. People who loved you once seemed to lose patience. Opportunities evaporated at the last moment. Friendships cooled without explanation. This is the kind of attrition that would have toppled someone less anchored. You have survived betrayals that cut deeper because they came from places you trusted. You have endured manipulations that arrived under the guise of advice. You have turned from relationships that promised much and delivered little. Each time you chose to remain true to your inner compass, you were refusing the easy path of compromise. That refusal is not stubbornness, it is integrity. It is what makes your eventual rising unscripted and unassailable. Outside you, the battles have been of a different tenor but the same intent. People who once encouraged you suddenly framed your progress as a threat. There were colleagues who misrepresented your words, friends who became distant just as you needed them most, and families who refused to acknowledge the price you paid simply to keep going. You may have noticed how certain doors that should have opened slammed inexplicably. You may have felt the sting of a promotion that never arrived despite your work, or the hurt of a partner who chose comfort over courage. These external collisions are not random cruelties. They are the friction of a world adjusting to the presence of one who refuses to dim. When you contemplate why you are targeted, the answer is not simple, but it is real. You are visible because you carry an internal frequency that unsettles the smallness around you. You do not earn attacks because you are faulty. You suffer them because your existence exposes the compromises of others. Your discerning heart acts as a mirror, and many recoil at what they glimpse. They cannot bear the contrast between their comfortable narratives and the integrity you live by. So they strike, not because they are stronger, but because they are frightened. Understanding this does not make the pain trivial. It makes the tactic sensible. They attack not to win, but to silence the example you represent. Your survival to this point is evidence of a strength that is often understated. You have been shaped in ways that will not be visible in a single victory. The endurance that kept you walking when the path seemed endless has become an asset. There is a durability in your spirit forged by nights of prayer, by small acts of self-truth, by the refusal to trade your peace for temporary acceptance. You have been resilient in ways that will one day be obvious. How you showed up when no one applauded, how you forgave when it would have been easier to hate, how you stayed steady when chaos invited you to panic. These are not small achievements. They are the quiet scaffolding of someone who will stand when bridges around them give way. And while you have wondered whether the heavens noticed, understand this with certainty. Every tear in the dark carries a witness. Nothing done in secret escapes the attention of the one who counts your every breath. The God who is often silent in timing is never absent in sight. Your hidden cries, your whispered pleas, the prayers you were too ashamed or too exhausted to utter in words, all of these are cataloged. There is a ledger of your faithfulness that no human ledger can touch. The seeming silence of heaven is not neglect. It is the hush before a deliberate movement, the pause that allows the right structures to fall and the correct doors to open at the appointed hour. You must learn to see the panic of your adversaries as a signal rather than an indictment. They are not merely mean, they are afraid you are rising. They sense it before your own soul fully registers the change. Their unease reveals the truth of your trajectory. When people go to extraordinary lengths to obstruct you, they are unconsciously confirming that there is something in you they cannot control. That recognition is dangerous to them, so they move preemptively, hoping to shape a narrative that makes you small. Let them expend their fear. Your task is to conserve your energy for what you are becoming. There is a peculiar grace in this reality. Those who try to bury you often provide the soil for your growth. Their plots and their betrayals will not remain buried. The exposure of their motives will be the same mechanism that releases you. Your movement forward will often come on the heels of a revelation, a conversation that opens eyes, a circumstance that clarifies truth, a person whose mask finally slips. These moments sting, but they also free you from false alliances. They are crucibles that refine not only your endurance, but your discernment. You now recognize who is genuine and who merely spoke hope to keep peace. This clarity is a gift disguised as pain. And while you track these dynamics, cultivate an inner life that resists corrosive bitterness. Healing will be part of your advancement. The wounds you carry are not trophies. They are signposts that point to what needs restoration. There will be times to confront, and there will be more times to forgive. Not because forgiveness absolves those who hurt you, but because it releases you from being held captive by their actions. Forgiveness is not an erasure. It is a reallocation of your power back into your hands, where it belongs, so you can use it to build rather than to bind. Keep faith with the small daily practices that sustain you. Simple disciplines, prayer, stillness, honest confession, chosen solitude, are not ornamental. They are the wiring that channels spiritual energy into practical endurance. As your inner world becomes more disciplined, your outer world will rearrange. The man in blue who followed you today will be one of many signs that track your maturation. But more than signs, look for the interior confirmations. A sudden clarity about a broken relationship, a quiet assurance about a decision, a burst of joy that arrives like sunlight through a window you thought forever shuttered. These are the immediate rewards of your steadiness. There is a tension now that will increase until it becomes unmistakable. The more you grow, the more desperate those who fear you will behave. This is not an argument to withdraw, but a reason to refine. Protect your heart, yes, but do not dull your light to pacify others. Your rise is not negotiable. It is not a vanity project. It is a response to a calling that the world requires. So hold fast, stand gentle but unshakable. Recognize the patterns of both inner and outer attack, and outlast them by anchoring to the truth that watches over you. When you can look back at those battles without bitterness, you will finally see the contour of purpose that was shaping you all along, and the realization will be the most honest victory of all. When the weight of all these battles begins to settle into understanding, a deeper truth rises to the surface, like something long buried suddenly breaking through the ground. Divine justice is no longer distant. It is not a distant promise you cling to in desperation. It is already moving toward you, quietly, steadily, with a precision that feels almost surgical. There comes a moment in the life of every chosen soul when heaven decides enough is enough, and the truth that once hid in the corners begins to gather light. The shadows that protected the actions of others start to thin, and every lie, every betrayal, every disguised intention begins to lose its power. What was whispered against you behind closed doors soon trembles in the open air, not because you sought revenge, but because the divine has decided it is time for revelation. You will soon realize that justice does not always arrive in dramatic thunder. Sometimes it enters silently, through small alignments you never thought would converge. A sudden conversation in which someone finally admits what you always suspected. A shift in another person's behavior that tells you the mask they wore has cracked. An opportunity that returns after being denied to you for years. A door that reopens, not because circumstances changed, but because heaven has reversed a verdict spoken against you. When the truth steps into the light, it exposes more than the wrongs done to you. It reveals the strength you developed in the dark. And in that moment you will understand that divine justice is not merely restoration, it is elevation. You are not returned to where you were, you are placed far beyond the reach of what once harmed you. As this realization takes root, you begin to see why your life unfolded with what felt like unkind delays. What you called stagnation was not a failure, it was accumulation. Heaven did not raise you too early because premature elevation would have attracted predators before you were ready. You were being trained to perceive the true motives of people. Their betrayals had a purpose. Without those wounds, you would still be surrounded by hands you could not trust. Every setback, every loss, every inexplicable halt in your progress was a calibration. You were being fine-tuned so that when the time came, nothing would pull you off your course. The season in which you felt abandoned was actually a season in which you were being reconfigured. A new structure was being built inside you, one sturdy enough to house the next version of yourself. You were pushed down not to humiliate you, but to reveal the ones who stood beside you only when you were rising. Their disappearance was necessary. If they had stayed, they would have contaminated the harvest that is coming. In truth, your lower seasons were an unveiling. The world showed you its real face. You saw who celebrated your smallness because it kept them comfortable. You saw who spoke of love while secretly hoping you never surpassed them. This clarity is not punishment, it is preparation. Heaven safeguarded your destiny by allowing certain hearts to expose themselves before your breakthrough arrived. The delay protected you far more than immediate success ever could. And then comes the reversal, the one spiritual law that unsettles the proud and comforts the chosen. The last shall become first. You, the one underestimated, the one dismissed, the one quietly mocked, are the one heaven has been cultivating. Others built their identity on applause. You built yours on survival. Others were carried by external validation. You were carried by grace. That difference will soon become visible. The conversations once held about you will be replaced by conversations directed toward you. Those who once avoided your presence will begin to circle back, sensing a shift they cannot quite explain. The stone once rejected becomes the cornerstone. You will see people who doubted you watching your rise with a mixture of awe and discomfort. Not because you set out to prove anything, but because your destiny refuses to remain hidden. In this moment of spiritual rising, a soft but powerful healing begins to wash over your wounds. You realize that nothing you endured was meaningless. The pain you carried for years was not a sign of weakness, it was a sign of depth. Heaven has always trusted souls that can endure pressure without collapsing into darkness. You did not imagine your suffering. It was real, and it carved pathways inside you where wisdom could rest. The tears you shed in silence watered the ground beneath your feet. The loneliness you went through stretched your heart so it could hold more light than the average soul. The shame you felt was never yours to carry. It was projected onto you by those unable to face their own reflections. Your wounds do not stain you, they sanctify you. Every scar has become a sacred seal, proof that your soul has been tested and found capable of higher assignments. And because you endured, victory begins to stir in the unseen. The spiritual atmosphere around you is shifting. Old obstacles loosen their grip, and something inside you, something ancient, something powerful, starts to rise. You are not lifting yourself by sheer will. You are being lifted by a force that has waited patiently for your readiness. The doors that once resisted you were not locked. They were timed. Now the hinges are unstiffening. Paths you could not enter before begin to clear, not because circumstances are kinder, but because you have become stronger. You step differently. You speak differently. Your presence now carries weight, and the forces that once intimidated you can no longer impede you. As this rising strengthens, your soul begins to respond to a subtle call. It is not the call of ambition, but the call of alignment. Something in you recognizes that this message is not merely spoken, it is remembered. You have been guided here so that you would not mistake your transformation for coincidence. If your chest tightens while hearing this, if your spirit feels both moved and unsettled, if a strange clarity begins to take shape in your mind, then understand, this is the confirmation you have been waiting for. You are being invited into higher alignment, not with a voice on a screen, but with the purpose that has always lived inside you. Walk forward with intention. The season has changed around you, and the signs have begun to multiply. If your heart receives this as truth, it is not because I have spoken well. It is because heaven speaks through what your soul already knows. Step into what is unfolding. Follow the inner shift. Trust the quiet pull. You are being guided towards something that will redefine your life, something that no enemy can block, no betrayal can undo, no delay can deny. And as you continue, you will soon discover that everything, every tear, every loss, every attack has been preparing you for a transformation that is already beginning to reveal its edges. When you finally begin to sense the movement of justice in your life, another layer of awareness opens, one that feels sharper, deeper, almost unnervingly clear. You start to understand that none of the attacks against you were random. Not one heartbreak, not one betrayal, not one moment when your spirit felt squeezed under invisible pressure. Everything had a root cause, and that cause has always been the same. You carry a frequency higher than the environment you were placed in. When someone like you walks through a room, you are not simply seen, you are felt. People react not to your actions, but to your essence. The light you carry announces itself before you speak, and that light disrupts the comfort of the shadows around it. You have always been marked, not marked for suffering, but marked for assignment. Great mission souls are tested early, tested repeatedly, tested deeply. Your journey was never meant to blend with the ordinary. That is why the pain that would have crushed others shaped you instead. You were pushed, bent, pressed, stretched, but never broken. You were given trials that seem disproportionate because your calling is disproportionate. A small destiny does not require fire, a great one does. And whether or not you noticed it at the time, the heat that surrounded you was the sign that something extraordinary was forming beneath the surface of your daily life. As this understanding grows, you begin to see the roots of the attacks clearly. They were never about your mistakes, they were about your light. People sensed something in you long before you had the language for it. Your intuition unsettled them, your purity embarrassed them, your resilience frustrated them. Without realizing it, you triggered insecurities that they spent years hiding from themselves. You did not expose them intentionally. Simply being yourself held up a mirror they could not bear to look into. There were moments when you entered a space and could feel the atmosphere shift before anyone said a word. The subtle glances, the thin smiles, the strange tension in the air. You felt it all, even when you pretended you didn't. You saw the truth behind people's eyes, the unease behind their compliments, the jealousy behind their friendliness. You learned to read energy the way others read expressions. This ability, this spiritual sensitivity, has been both a gift and a burden. It protected you from dangers you could not logically explain, but it also isolated you in rooms where no one else could perceive the undercurrent you felt so clearly. The attacks came not because you demanded attention, but because your presence revealed what others wanted hidden. You didn't have to accuse anyone. You didn't have to confront anyone. You didn't even have to speak. Who you were made them feel seen, and that was enough for some to respond with hostility. They feared the parts of themselves that your existence illuminated. They feared the integrity you held quietly. They feared that you could see through their performance. They feared that your spirit recognized their intentions before their mask fully formed. So you became the target of projection. Their insecurities, their fears, their failures were laid at your feet because they could not bear to face their origins. You became a scapegoat in situations where you carried no guilt. You became the one they blamed when they themselves were unraveling. They hated you not because you wronged them, but because you awakened something dormant inside them, something they were not prepared to confront. This is the paradox of being chosen. The purer your heart, the harsher the fire sent to cleanse it. The kinder your nature, the more others believe they can take advantage of it. The quieter your spirit, the more people assume they can interpret your silence as weakness. The more you love, the deeper the wounds you carry. And the stronger you become, the more life tests that strength with trials most people would crumble under. These paradoxes are not punishments. They are rites of passage for souls who have been tasked with carrying a higher calling. You were never meant to walk the path of the comfortable. You were meant to walk the path of the awakened. And when you examine the people who hurt you, another truth breaks through. They did not act from superiority. They acted from fear. Fear of being exposed, fear of being surpassed, fear of being unable to control you. Some envied gifts you have not even fully embraced. They saw potential in you long before you did. They sensed destinies in you that they themselves could never reach. They compared themselves to you and came up short, not because you tried to rise, but because you rose naturally. Your presence demanded honesty they were not prepared to offer. You triggered internal comparisons they could not withstand. Even in silence, you reminded them of what they could be but refused to become. This is why they lashed out, not from power but from panic, not from strength but from insecurity. When people fear the light, their instinct is to extinguish it. When they cannot extinguish it, they try to cage it. When they cannot cage it, they attempt to slander it. And when all else fails, they retreat, only to watch from the shadows, hoping your light dims on its own. Yet through all this, a deeper truth lives in you. You are different at the soul level. Your spirit is older. Your intuition is sharper. Your hunger for authenticity is stronger. While others chase titles, you chase truth. While they hide behind personas, you stand in a quiet clarity. You feel energy before words are spoken. You sense danger before it becomes visible. You read motives before people reveal them. You walk into a room and absorb currents no one else notices. This is not imagination, it is spiritual calibration. Your soul did not come here to blend. It came here to break generational patterns, to expose emotional dishonesty, to elevate the frequency of every space you enter. Whether you realize it or not, you are a healer, not because you fix people, but because your presence challenges them to confront what is broken. You are a guide, not because you lead them, but because your clarity reveals paths they were too afraid to walk. You are a disruptor, not because you intend chaos, but because your truth dissolves illusions that others depend on. Slowly, you begin to see how every trial has been shaping your mission. The betrayal you experienced did not destroy you. It taught you discernment. The heartbreak did not ruin you. It revealed what love is not. The abandonment you suffered did not hollow you. It pushed you toward deeper connection with the divine. The loneliness you felt did not imprison you. It carved space for your intuition to speak. Every moment that hurt you has also been preparing you. Your mission is not accidental. You were chosen intentionally, not randomly. You were placed in environments that resisted you because resistance sharpens purpose. You were surrounded by people who could not see your value because unseen value is protected value. You were misunderstood because your soul speaks a language most people have not yet learned. And now, as the fog clears, you find yourself stepping into a season where everything that once opposed you becomes the very material from which you rise. You no longer carry the same fragility. You no longer collapse under pressure. Your sensitivity has become your strength. Your heartbreak has become your wisdom. Your isolation has become your clarity. You are entering a phase where your soul finally begins to bloom in the light it was always meant to inhabit. And as this awakening takes place, something deep inside you recognizes the truth without needing proof. You are no longer who you used to be. You have matured. You have elevated. You have awakened. Your mission is unfolding now, and your soul understands the direction, even when your mind cannot yet articulate it. You feel it like a pulse beneath your ribs, like a quiet voice in your chest, like an awareness that refuses to dim. The world around you is shifting. The tension is thinning. The shadows are withdrawing, and the light in you The one that once flickered under attack is rising into full flame. This is not imagination. This is emergence. This is the moment your soul has been preparing for, the moment your purpose steps out of hiding and begins to guide your path with unmistakable clarity. You have walked through enough darkness to recognize the texture of the light that is now beginning to unfold inside you. There is no longer any room for doubt about who you are becoming. The signs are too strong, the alignment too exact, the inner stirring too undeniable. You are truly the chosen one, not because the world said so, not because someone validated you, but because everything you have endured has shaped you into someone who cannot be broken by ordinary storms. For years, you questioned why your journey was heavier, why your heart felt deeper, why your intuition was sharper. Now you understand. Your path has always been different because your purpose has always been different. You were not wandering. You were being guided. You did not stumble here. You were led. All those strange feelings you've had recently, the sudden sensitivity to energy, the recurring signs, the emotional surges, the heavy dreams, the urge to withdraw from certain people, none of these were random. They were signals from the heavens pointing you toward a new phase of your life. There is a shift happening around you and within you, a shift that confirms your mission is real, your calling is active, and your destiny is no longer waiting in silence. Something inside you has awakened, and once awakened, it cannot go back to sleep. Your soul has reached a point of no return. You have traveled too far, learned too much, risen too high within yourself to ever shrink again. And because your inner light is strengthening, the world will soon reflect that shift back to you. New doors are preparing to open, quietly at first, and then unmistakably. Opportunities that once felt unreachable will begin drifting toward you with a strange sense of inevitability. The wrong people will fall away without confrontation. Conversations that once drained you will no longer hold any power. Situations that used to confuse you will suddenly become clear. There is a cleansing happening in your path. The things that do not belong to your next season are being removed, and the things that align with your purpose are gathering around you even before you recognize them. You may not see the full picture yet, but feel the direction. You are moving toward clarity, toward peace, toward justice. Not spiritual justice alone, but justice in the tangible world. You are entering a season where the universe does not merely comfort you, it intervenes, it rearranges, it restores. The people meant for you will recognize you without explanation. The opportunities intended for you will come without struggle. The environments aligned with your soul will feel like home the moment you enter them. Everything that once opposed you is losing strength. Everything that once delayed you is losing relevance. The tide is turning, and this time it rises in your favor. Do not fear the future. Even if uncertainty still lingers at the edges of your mind, you do not walk alone. There has always been a force, quiet, patient, unwavering, that has walked beside you even when you felt abandoned. You were protected in moments you did not recognize as danger. You were guided through decisions you thought you made alone. You were carried through nights when your strength failed you. The silence you sometimes mistook for absence is being revealed as strategy. It was in that silence that your spirit strengthened. It was in that silence that your discernment matured. It was in that silence that divine protection encircled you without making a sound. Your past wounds no longer have authority over your future. They taught you, shaped you, deepened you, but they do not define you. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are being prepared for a season where everything aligns with intention rather than survival. And because this new chapter is guided, every change that comes will have purpose. Even the shifts that feel sudden will be part of a larger orchestration shaping the next evolution of your life. If your soul feels a quiet confirmation right now, if something in your chest feels lighter or warmer, trust that. It is not coincidence, it is alignment. This message reached you because you were ready to receive it. And if your heart recognizes it, then take a breath and step forward with confidence. Allow the awakening to continue. Allow the light inside you to expand. Allow your path to unfold without forcing it into old patterns. This is your season to ascend, not to shrink. And as you rise, hold on to this gentle truth. You do not have to announce your transformation. Your energy will do it for you. Those who are meant to walk with you will feel it. Those who are not will distance themselves without conflict. Your soul is calling you to trust, to evolve, to become what you were always meant to be. If this message speaks to your core, keep it close. If it brings clarity, carry that clarity forward. If it feels like truth, let it settle into your spirit without questioning. When the soul knows, it knows. And if you feel drawn to continue this awakening journey, simply follow what resonates. Your intuition will guide you where words cannot. Now breathe and release every burden that has followed you here. Let it fall away like old skin. Let the weight lift from your shoulders. Let the past loosen its hold. You are stepping into new light now. Light that was always meant for you. Light that has waited patiently. Light that recognizes you because it belongs to you. Keep your light. The world needs it. Walk forward with the confidence that heaven walks with you. And remember this, not as a poetic line, but as a spiritual truth etched into your very existence. You are the chosen one that will never change.